Mm.
People don't surf because it's difficult. That's why they don't surf. It's
Mm.
difficult. Imagine if you had to play football and the ball was different every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if you had to play football and the surface that you play on was different every time.
Every time. Mm-hmm.
Surfing's a really difficult activity as a result of the fact that it's always different. Yet at the same time, it's very interesting as a result of the fact that it's always different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's if if you want to apply that to life, I mean, if someone's prepared to put this time, effort, into and energy into something that's completely unpredictable,
Mm-hmm.
if you can apply that principle to everything you do in your life, you'd be unstoppable, right? The trouble is people, right? The trouble is people compartmentalize their brain and they think surf, family, work, and they put things into little boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could apply the same mentality of it doesn't bother me that everything is difficult and complicated and I have no fucking idea what's going to happen next. If you could apply that to everything in life, you would swim through life, no problem.
Yeah.
Just that principle of I'm going to prepare for something that no one could prepare for. Whoa!
Yeah.
You're looking for comfort, which you'll never find there, right? You'll
True.
you'll you'll, you'll never the surfer who's comfortable with surfing is not pushing themselves enough to understand that the whole thing is about progression. So, um, look, you get moments every now and then where it's different and and you enjoy it, but as I already explained, the principle of the fact you can't prepare for everything and the complete uniqueness of every experience. Whereas, most of the time when people buy a product, they want it to be exactly the same as the last product they had. But what makes life interesting is those
There's
is
always something new.
yeah, it's the things that are it's that crazy balance. Okay, so you have a football match. You want the rules to be the same. You want the size of pitch to be the same. You want everyone to have the similar kinds of clothing and access to equipment and resources. But you don't want every game to be the same,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So it's understanding that the stability only matters when you can use it to be unstable. It only matters.
Wow.
Yeah? There's the only point of having a home and a job and paying the bills is so that you can fuck with it all and go away and do something else.
Mm.
Right? And come back to the stability knowing it's going to be there.
Yeah.
Right? Right? If your partner in life is a rock, then it doesn't matter what you do to a certain extent. Because you can always lean on them and they know who you are and they respect and appreciate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean use to abuse. It just means realize that the things that we have that are stable are the things that allow us to be unstable. Like the artist can be creative because somebody spent 10 years building a company to produce the paints,
Mm-hmm.
right? But so and the whole point of the whole point of work to stay within work framework and work mentality completely misses the point. If your work is not setting you free, eventually, right? If it's not setting you
Yeah.
free, eventually. I mean, it's called work because you have to work at it, but um, if it's not leading to freedom, then it's just leading to a prison of resentment and frustration. If it's not setting you free, uh, eventually, you know what? For kids going to school, what's the excitement? The excitement is meeting everybody, and everybody's going to be a little bit different from how they were the day before, and this mix of having 20, 10, 15, 20, 30 people in a room is going to spark some form of creativity, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's you know that's what makes things interesting, and the most successful people within those kinds of environments are the people that understand that bringing difference to the table will make them popular, because you need to consistently reinvent the wheel when you don't have that much freedom.
Mm-hmm.
God knows what we're psychologically teaching kids when we force them to live under this, what essentially is a Pavlovian prison
Mm-hmm.
created by adults who should know better. We want to teach children. We want to teach children they have limitless possibilities by putting them in a limited environment. Oh my fucking god! Could you be more contrary? Could you be more opposite?
Yeah.
I don't think that more contrary. I don't think that more opposite exists than that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're allowing them to be experimental with their creativity with these resources that we've given them.
And we ask them to use them in certain way.
Oh my god, yes. And we call that creativity. That is so fucking wrong. But we gave them glue and scissors and sticky tape and 6 colors of paint. Yeah. You can have any one of these wide variety of choices that I have selected for you.
Oh.
hmm Yeah, it's the the madness is obvious when you stop to study it for a short space of time. But it's also important to recognize that we don't live in a world without madness, because everything has an
Control.
element of that about it. I think deep down psychologically, most adults are afraid of children. That's why all these controls exist. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they fear, for some reason, the future. Um, they rather than sort of embrace it. And the crazy thing is that the solutions that come in the future are going to come from people who think differently.
Mm-hmm. Why did you say adults are afraid of or scared of children?
Because of all the rules, all the
The rule.
control, the rules and the control.
Mm.
Yeah. The highly structured environment. Now, structure can lead to organization. Organization can lead to some level of progress. It's not a bad thing, and you don't want the kids running naked through the forest, right? I mean, that's not really a wise form
No,
of
it's
education.
entering.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, um, but you don't want to sterilize their creativity, and you don't want to lose the wildness. You don't want to lose all of it. Yeah, in the sense that the I'm not sure that it's what I said earlier about we present this adult world to kids and say you better get ready for this, and the kids look at the adults and like the adults look bored as fuck, right? Half of them are on antidepressants. The other half are drinking twice as much alcohol as they pretend that they are, and and we're supposed to look forward to this dystopic nightmare that we're always presented with in films where the heroes are going to come and save us. And we know there aren't any heroes.
Mm.
So, well, what is what is that about? And it's interesting. Um, that there's a dark side to every personality. Kids understand this, and adults don't want to talk about it. Right? It's when was the last time an adult turned around to a kid and said, "I'm going to teach you about narcissistic personalities and how not to let that fuck up your life"? Never. Right? Right. And then I don't know, like 1 in 4 women experiences some level of abuse in a relationship in their lifetime, and it's because they're not able to identify the negative traits and characteristics and see the dark side of their partner.
Mm.
But we need to know that pi is 3.14 and how to do fractional equations.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm biased because I see the world through that kind of lens, but my like learning the names of different rivers in Europe seems somewhat abstract from time to time. There's a certain sort of general knowledge, a sort of encyclopedic reality. The ability to retain some kinds of information is important. Um, you should know that we live on a planet, and there's different. You should understand I don't know, the environmental cycles and
Mm.
the importance of sunlight and precipitation, and you should have some level of understanding of that, but it doesn't. There's a lot of stuff that it just doesn't make sense, or it's just extremely practical that wherever you go, you adapt to the different and changing environment. Boom. Well, there's 10 years of school in one sentence. You can remove 10 years of school and just say to kids, wherever you go, you have to adapt to living in a different environment.
Boom. Yeah.
Boom.
Adapt.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Whether it's the climate, or whether it's a language, or whether it's a habit, or whether it's a religion, or a certain kind of geography, or whether it's demographic age ranges, whether it's health and well-being, what kinds of plants exist in that region, whatever you have to deal with, right? The sports that people like to play in their free time, whatever. You 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 learn to adapt and understand and apply the principles you already know, and learn something new, and that's it. Um, Teaching people this is the way the world works. Well, what? Oh dear. Why do I have to do that? Because that's the way the world works. Well, that's just an inability to understand the fact that things could be better, right? It's just the way that it is. God, no, yeah, that's just absolving yourself of any responsibility. Because God made it so. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know that that's going to help anybody understand anything. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's my little bit of a rant about the madness of uh, of education and how happy people are that they think that they're doing the right thing, and the older I get, the less clear it is in many ways what the future is going to be like. It's clear to me what morality and ethics are, but it's not clear to me that the future is in any way predictable.